How could my sister's sudden interest in babysitting turn into the worst betrayal I never saw coming? I thought I was helping my dying friend's son. I thought family meant protection. I was so wrong about what she really wanted. My name is Alex Brennan. I'm 38 years old, and until 3 months ago, I thought I understood what family meant. I'm a software engineer. I work from home most days, debugging code and attending video meetings in my pajama pants. I own a modest 3-bedroom house in a quiet neighborhood where people wave at each other and nobody asks too many questions. I've never been married. Most people think that makes me boring, and maybe they're right. But boring has its advantages. Boring means stable. Boring means reliable. David understood that about me. The hospice room smelled like disinfectant and something else I couldn't name. Something final. David lay in the adjustable bed, tubes running from his arms, monitors beeping their steady rhythm. He'd lost so much weight that his wedding ring kept sliding around on his finger. He'd stopped wearing it after Emma died 2 years ago, but he'd put it back on last week. Said he wanted to wear it when he saw her again. "I need to ask you something," David said. His voice was barely above a whisper. The aggressive cancer in his pancreas had spread everywhere. 6 months, they'd said 4 months ago. Now we were counting in weeks. "Anything," I said. "Jamie." David's eyes found mine. We'd been friends since college, 20 years of history between us. I'd been there when he married Emma. I'd held him when she died in that car accident. I'd watched him try to be both parents to an 8-year-old boy who kept asking when Mommy was coming home. "What about him?" "He needs somewhere to go. Someone who'll—" David coughed, and I reached for the water cup. He waved it away. "Someone who'll love him, not someone who'll see him as a burden or an obligation." Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. David, you know I'll do whatever you need. His grandmother on Emma's side is in Florida, but she's got dementia now. My parents are gone. There's no one else except— He paused. Except people who shouldn't be anywhere near him. I leaned forward. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying I want you to take him. Temporary guardianship at first, then permanent when the time comes. I've already talked to my lawyer. The paperwork is ready. There's a life insurance policy, $2.3 million, held in trust until he's 18. You'd be the trustee. The house is paid off. That goes to him too. Everything goes to Jamie, but you'd manage it, make decisions about his care, his education. $2.3 million. The number hung in the air between us. "I don't care about the money," I said. "You know that." "I know. That's why I'm asking you." David reached out and I took his hand. His skin felt paper thin. "Will you do it? Will you take care of my son?" "Yes," I said. "Of course, for as long as he needs me." "Forever," David said. "I need you to do it forever." The funeral home delivered Jamie and his belongings 3 days later. 1 backpack. That was it. Everything an 8-year-old boy owned in the world fit in 1 backpack with cartoon characters on it. He stood in my doorway, small and silent, holding the hand of the social worker who'd driven him over. His eyes were red but dry. I don't think he had any tears left. "Hi, Jamie," I said, crouching down to his level. "Remember me? Uncle Alex?" He nodded. "You're going to stay with me for a while, okay? I've got a room all set up for you. We can decorate it however you want." The social worker handed me some papers. "He's been very quiet. The grief counselor said that's normal. Give him time and space. Don't push." After she left, Jamie and I stood in the hallway, looking at each other. "Are you hungry?" I asked. He shook his head. "Want to see your room?" He nodded. I led him upstairs to the guest room I'd spent the last week transforming. New bed, new sheets with planets and rockets on them, a desk by the window, a bookshelf I'd filled with books for kids his age. I didn't know what 8-year-olds liked, so I'd bought everything. Jamie walked to the window and looked out at the backyard. "My dad is going to be gone soon," he said. Not a question, a statement. "Yeah," I said. "I'm sorry, buddy." Everyone says they're sorry, but it doesn't change anything. No, it doesn't. He turned to look at me. "Will you send me away after?" "Never," I said. "This is your home now, for as long as you want it to be." He didn't say anything else, just turned back to the window. My phone buzzed that evening. Monica. "Alex, I just heard about David. I'm so sorry. How are you holding up?" My sister. We'd never been particularly close. She was 3 years younger, married to Richard, a real estate developer 20 years her senior. They lived in a house with more bathrooms than my entire floor plan. Monica had never wanted children. She'd told me that directly at Thanksgiving 2 years ago. "I'm managing," I said. "And the boy, David's son, where's he going?" "He's here. With me." A pause. "With you? Alex, are you sure that's a good idea? I mean, you've never had kids. You don't know the first thing about parenting." "I'll figure it out. Well, if you need any help, I'm here. I could babysit sometimes. Give you a break." I pulled the phone away from my ear and stared at it. Monica, offering to babysit. "That's really generous," I said carefully. "But we're okay for now. We're just trying to establish a routine." "I insist," Monica said. "Family helps family, right? I'll come by tomorrow." She hung up before I could respond. Monica showed up the next morning with bags from expensive stores. Clothes for Jamie, new shoes, a tablet computer still in its packaging. "You can't expect him to wear whatever he brought," she said, breezing past me into the house. "Growing boys need proper clothes, and every child needs their own tablet these days, for educational apps." Jamie sat at the kitchen table, eating cereal and watching cartoons on my laptop. "Jamie, sweetie, I'm your Aunt Monica," she said, her voice suddenly high and sweet. "I brought you some presents." He looked at her with those careful, measuring eyes that children develop when they've lost too much. "Thank you," he said quietly. Monica pulled out the clothes, the shoes, the tablet. "I'll set this up for you. Do you have the Wi-Fi password, Alex?" Over the next 2 weeks, Monica became a constant presence. She'd show up in the mornings just to check in. She'd call during lunch to see how Jamie's day was going. She'd text in the evenings, offering to pick up dinner. At first, I was grateful. Maybe I'd misjudged her all these years. Maybe becoming an aunt had awakened something maternal in her. But then, I started noticing the questions. "So, David had life insurance, right?" she asked casually one afternoon while Jamie was upstairs. "I mean, for Jamie's future?" "Yeah," I said. "How much?" "That's private, Monica. I'm just concerned about my nephew, making sure he's taken care of financially. You're the trustee, right? You control the money until he's 18? I manage it for his benefit. That's different from controlling it." Right. Of course," she smiled. "And the guardianship paperwork? Is that all finalized?" "We're working on it. Temporary or permanent?" I set down my coffee cup. "Why are you asking?" "Just curious. I mean, if anything happened to you, God forbid, someone would need to take over, right? Has David named a backup guardian?" "Monica, what is this really about?" "Nothing. I'm just trying to understand the situation, for Jamie's sake." But her eyes had this calculating gleam that made my stomach turn. That Sunday, I took Jamie to our mother's house for dinner. Family tradition. Every Sunday, no matter what, we gathered at Mom's place for pot roast and awkward conversations. Monica and Richard were already there. So were Mom's neighbors, the Hendersons, who she'd invited to make it feel more festive. "How's my grandson doing?" Mom asked, pulling Jamie into a hug. She'd decided to call herself his grandmother immediately. "Are you eating enough? Alex, is he eating enough?" "He's eating fine, Mom." "Because he looks thin," Children need proper nutrition, and I know you, Alex. You probably feed him pizza and takeout every night. We eat balanced meals, I said. Monica piped up from the living room. I've been helping out a lot, actually. I'm practically over there every day making sure Jamie has what he needs. Alex has been great. But he's never had kids before. It's a learning curve. Well, thank goodness you're there, Mom said. Alex would be lost without you. I caught Monica's smile. Satisfied, possessive. During dinner, the conversation turned to guardianship. So when does it become official? Richard asked. He'd barely said 2 words to Jamie all evening, but suddenly he was interested in the legal details. The temporary guardianship is already active, I said. Permanent guardianship will be finalized after David passes. Have you thought about what's really best for the boy, though? Monica asked. She wasn't looking at me. She was looking at Mom. I mean, long term? Alex is wonderful, but a child needs stability, a traditional family structure, 2 parents. Monica, I said quietly. I'm just saying, Richard and I have been talking, and we'd be willing to take Jamie. We have the space, the resources. I could be a full-time mother to him. Alex, you work all day. You can't give him the attention he needs. Jamie's fork stopped halfway to his mouth. I work from home, I said. I'm here all day. But you're working. That's different from being present. A child needs someone focused entirely on them. Mom was nodding, actually nodding. Maybe Monica has a point, Alex. You are a bachelor. You don't have experience with children, and Monica and Richard could provide a more traditional home environment. David chose me, I said. My voice came out harder than I intended. He specifically asked me to take care of Jamie. That was his dying wish. David wasn't thinking clearly at the end, Monica said softly. The medication, the pain. He probably just asked whoever was in the room at the time. My hands clenched under the table. Jamie pushed his chair back. May I be excused? Of course, honey, Mom said. He walked upstairs to the guest room where Mom kept toys for visiting kids. The moment he was gone, Monica leaned forward. We're just thinking about what's best for him, Alex. Don't make this about your ego. My ego? You want to be the hero, the guy who saves the day, but this isn't about you. It's about giving that child the best possible life. Richard nodded. We could provide things you can't. Private schools, tutors, a mother figure. I'm his guardian, I said. That's final. Monica's expression shifted. Something cold moved behind her eyes. Nothing's final until David dies, and even then, guardianship can be contested if it's not in the child's best interest. Are you threatening me? I'm stating facts. She stood up, smoothing her expensive dress. Think about it, Alex. Really think about what's best for Jamie, not what makes you feel important. She walked upstairs to say goodbye to Jamie, leaving me sitting with Mom and Richard. She just wants to help, Mom said. Does she? That night, after I'd put Jamie to bed, I stood in my home office, staring at the guardianship papers David's lawyer had sent over. Temporary guardian, with permanent guardianship to be finalized after David's passing. My phone buzzed. Jamie's bedroom door had a monitor on it, sound activated. I heard his small voice, talking to himself in the dark. Dad? If you can hear me, I hope Uncle Alex doesn't send me away. I like it here. He's nice to me. He doesn't ask too many questions. A pause. Aunt Monica keeps asking me stuff. About what you told me. About money and papers and things. I didn't tell her anything. Was that okay? My blood went cold. I pulled up my phone and texted Monica. Stop questioning Jamie about private matters. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then, I don't know what you mean. I'm just getting to know my nephew. Don't be paranoid. But I wasn't paranoid. I was finally paying attention. David and I met during freshman orientation at State. He was the guy who helped me move a couch up 3 flights of stairs when my roommate bailed. I was the guy who let him copy my calculus notes when he overslept. 20 years of friendship built on small kindnesses and stupid jokes, and being there when it mattered. I was there when Emma walked into the campus coffee shop our junior year and David froze mid-sentence, coffee cup suspended in the air, completely forgetting how to speak. I was his best man at their wedding. I was the first person he called when Emma got pregnant, screaming into the phone at 2 a.m. "We're having a boy! Alex, we're having a boy!" And I was there in the hospital when the police came to tell David that Emma's car had been hit head-on by a drunk driver. She'd been coming home from her mother's house, 10 minutes from home. Jamie was 6, old enough to understand his mother was gone, young enough to keep expecting her to come back. David fell apart for a while. I took 2 weeks off work and stayed at their house, making sure Jamie got to school, making sure David ate something, anything, watching them both try to figure out how to live in a world without Emma. So when David asked me to take Jamie, it wasn't charity. It wasn't obligation. It was the only answer I could give. But my family didn't see it that way. The Sunday dinners became battlegrounds. Monica brought it up every single week, each time with a new angle. "I've been researching child development," she announced at the second dinner after Jamie moved in. "Did you know that children who lose both parents benefit most from 2-parent households? Studies show it." "Studies show lots of things," I said. "I'm just saying, Richard and I could provide that structure. We've been talking to an adoption attorney, actually. Just preliminary conversations." I set down my fork. "You've been talking to an attorney?" "Just gathering information for Jamie's sake." Jamie sat next to me, pushing peas around his plate. I could feel him getting smaller, curling in on himself. "Jamie," Mom said, "how would you feel about living with Aunt Monica and Uncle Richard? They have that beautiful house with the swimming pool." Jamie looked at his plate. "I like where I am. But, sweetie, Uncle Alex has to work. Aunt Monica could stay home with you, take you places, help with homework." "Uncle Alex helps with my homework," Jamie said quietly. Monica smiled. "I'm sure he does his best, but wouldn't it be nice to have a mommy again?" Jamie's hands clenched. "I have a mom. She died." "Of course, honey. I just meant, I don't want a new mom. I want to stay with Uncle Alex." The table went silent. Richard cleared his throat. "The boy doesn't know what he wants. He's 8. Children that age can't make these decisions." "Good thing it's not his decision then," I said. "It's David's. And he chose me." "A dying man's choice can be challenged," Monica said. Her voice had lost its sugar coating. "Especially if there's evidence the current guardian is unfit." "Unfit?" "You're a single man with no parenting experience. You work from home, which means the child is exposed to an adult who's distracted and unavailable. You have no support system. I'm not saying you're a bad person, Alex. I'm saying you're not equipped for this." Mom nodded along. "She has a point, honey. Maybe this is too much for you." I looked at my mother, the woman who'd raised me and Monica in a 2-bedroom apartment after Dad left, who'd worked 2 jobs to keep us fed and clothed, who'd told me over and over that family was everything. "Did Monica tell you about the life insurance?" I asked. Mom blinked. "What?" "David's life insurance policy. $2.3 million. Held in trust for Jamie until he's 18. The guardian acts as trustee, manages the money, makes decisions about how it's spent." Monica's face flushed red. "That has nothing to do with—" "Doesn't it? You've been asking me about the money since day one, about the guardianship papers, about who controls what. This isn't about Jamie's well-being. This is about access to $2.3 million. "How dare you?" Monica hissed. "I love that child. You didn't know he existed until 3 weeks ago. You've never wanted kids. You told me at Thanksgiving you were glad you never had them because they're expensive and annoying. People change. Not that fast, not that conveniently." Richard stood up. "We don't have to sit here and be insulted." "Then leave," I said. They did. But not before Monica turned at the door and said, "This isn't over, Alex. That boy deserves better than you." After they left, Mom looked at me with something between disappointment and concern. Was that really necessary? Yeah, Mom, it was. Monica is your sister. She's trying to help. She's trying to get access to Jamie's inheritance. Can't you see that? I see a woman who wants to give a child a good home, and I see a man who's being defensive because he's in over his head. I stood up. Come on, Jamie, we're going home. In the car, Jamie was silent until we turned onto our street. Uncle Alex? Yeah, buddy? Am I going to have to go live with Aunt Monica? No. She keeps saying I will. She says I'll like it better there, that you'll get tired of taking care of me. I pulled into the driveway and turned off the engine. Then I turned to face him. Listen to me, okay? I'm never going to get tired of you. You're not a burden. You're not an inconvenience. You're here because your dad asked me to take care of you, and because I want to take care of you. Do you understand? He nodded, but his eyes were still uncertain. And nobody, not Aunt Monica, not Grandma, nobody gets to decide where you live except me and the court. And I'm going to make sure you stay right here. Promise? I promise. But Monica wasn't done. She started showing up at Jamie's school. The first time, I got a call from the principal. Mr. Brennan, we had an incident today. A woman claiming to be Jamie's aunt tried to pick him up during lunch. She said she was taking him to a doctor's appointment. When we called to verify with you, you didn't answer, so we didn't release him. My stomach dropped. What did she look like? Blonde, mid-30s, expensive clothes. Said her name was Monica Westwood. That's my sister. She is his aunt, but she's not authorized to pick him up. Ever. Unless I specifically tell you otherwise. We've made a note in the system. I just wanted you to be aware. I called Monica immediately. What the hell were you doing at Jamie's school? I thought I'd take him to lunch. What's wrong with that? You don't get to show up at his school and try to take him without my permission. I'm family, Alex. I don't need your permission. Actually, you do. I'm his legal guardian. You want to see Jamie, you go through me. This is ridiculous. You're being paranoid and controlling. No, Monica, I'm being protective. There's a difference. She hung up on me. The next week, Jamie came home from school with a new video game system. Still in the box, expensive, latest model. Where did you get this? I asked. Aunt Monica. She was waiting outside school. She said she wanted to give me a present because she loves me. What else did she say? Jamie looked down. She asked if you were being nice to me. She asked if I was happy. She said if I wasn't happy, I could come live with her and I could have my own room with anything I wanted in it. I took the game system. I'm returning this. But, Jamie, she's trying to bribe you. She's trying to make you think living with her would be better. But it wouldn't be. She doesn't want you because she loves you. She wants you because of your dad's money. The life insurance? Smart kid. Too smart for his own good sometimes. Yeah, the life insurance. If she becomes your guardian, she controls that money. And people do bad things when there's that much money involved. What about you? You control it now. I manage it for you. There's a difference. Every penny I spend from that trust, I have to document and justify. It's not my money, it's yours. I'm just keeping it safe until you're old enough to take care of it yourself. He thought about that. Okay. Okay. I believe you. My dad said you were the most honest person he knew. He said if anything happened to him, you'd take care of me the right way. Something in my chest cracked open. Your dad was a good man, I said. I know. Jamie's voice got very small. I miss him. Me too, buddy. Me too. That night, after Jamie was asleep, I sat in my office and made a list. Everything Monica had done. Every question she'd asked about money. Every attempt to undermine my guardianship. Every inappropriate contact with Jamie. Then I called my lawyer friend from college, Marcus Chen. He'd gone into family law after his own messy divorce, and he was the most thorough person I knew. I need advice, I said. About guardianship, about protecting a kid from relatives who want access to his inheritance. "Tell me everything," Marcus said. So I did. When I finished, Marcus was quiet for a long moment. "Alex, this is serious. Your sister is positioning herself to contest guardianship. The school thing, the money conversations, the family pressure. She's building a case that you're unfit." "I'm not unfit." "I know. But she's going to argue that Jamie needs a two-parent home, that you're inexperienced, that she can provide more stability. Judges listen to that sometimes, especially with wealthy family members who can afford good lawyers." "What do I do?" "You do everything by the book. Document every interaction. Keep records of Jamie's well-being, his school performance, his emotional state. Get David's guardianship wishes in writing, notarized if possible. And most importantly, file for permanent guardianship as soon as legally allowed. Don't wait. The longer this stays temporary, the more opportunity your sister has to challenge it." "David's not dead yet." "I know. I'm sorry. But when that happens, you need to be ready to move fast. Have all your paperwork in order. Have character witnesses lined up. Make this ironclad before your sister can file a competing petition." "You think she will?" "Alex, she's already tried to pick up Jamie from school without your permission. She's buying him expensive gifts. She's undermining you at family dinners. Yeah, I think she's going to file." I rubbed my face. This is insane. He's just a kid who's losing his father, and she's turning it into some kind of legal battle over money. That's what money does to people. Brings out their worst. How do I fight this? The same way you win any legal battle. Evidence, documentation, and making sure the court sees that you're the one who actually cares about that boy's well-being, not just his bank account. After we hung up, I started a folder on my computer. Screenshots of Monica's texts, notes about her questions, the school incident report, Jamie's statements about feeling uncomfortable. I was building a case. Because Marcus was right. This wasn't over. It was just beginning. 3 weeks later, I got the call I'd been dreading. "Alex, it's Sarah, from the hospice." Sarah was David's nurse, young, competent, the kind of person who could deliver bad news with kindness. "How much time?" I asked. "Days, maybe a week. He's asking for you, and Jamie." I picked Jamie up from school early, told his teacher it was a family emergency, which wasn't a lie. In the car, Jamie looked at me and asked the question he'd been afraid to ask for weeks. "Is it time?" "Yeah, buddy, it's time." We drove to the hospice in silence. Jamie held my hand in the parking lot. His palm was sweaty, small, trembling. David was awake when we entered his room. Barely. His skin had taken on a yellowish tinge, and his breathing was shallow and labored. But his eyes cleared when he saw Jamie. "Hey, champ," David whispered. Jamie climbed onto the bed carefully, like David was made of glass. "Hi, Dad." I started to leave, give them privacy, but David shook his head. "Stay. Please." So I sat in the chair by the window and watched a father say goodbye to his son. "I need you to be brave," David said. "Can you do that?" Jamie nodded, tears streaming down his face. "Uncle Alex is going to take care of you. He's good people, the best. You listen to him, okay? You trust him." "I will." "And if anyone tries to tell you different, if anyone says you should go somewhere else, you remember what I'm telling you right now. I chose Alex, not because he's rich or fancy, because he's got a good heart, because he'll love you the way I love you." "Okay, Daddy." David's eyes found mine. "Protect him, Alex. From everyone. Even family. Especially family." "I will." "Some people are going to try to take him. They're going to say it's for his own good. But it's not. It's about the money, Emma's life insurance, my house. They'll come for him because they see dollar signs. Don't let them." "I won't." "Promise me." "I promise." David closed his eyes. "Good. That's good." Jamie laid his head on his father's chest, and David put his hand on Jamie's hair. They stayed like that for an hour, maybe more. I watched the monitors slow, watched David's breathing get more and more shallow. Finally, David opened his eyes one more time. "Love you, champ. Love you too, Daddy. Be happy. That's all I want. Just be happy." Then his hand went still. Jamie lifted his head. "Daddy?" I moved to the bed, checked for a pulse I knew wouldn't be there. "He's gone, Jamie. I'm so sorry." Jamie didn't cry, didn't scream, just laid his head back down on his father's chest and whispered, "Don't go. Please don't go." But David was already gone. The funeral was small. David had wanted it that way. Just close friends, a few relatives, a simple service. Jamie sat between me and his grandmother from Florida, who'd flown in for the funeral but was already scheduled to fly back the next day. The dementia had progressed too far for her to take on a child. Monica and Richard sat in the back. Monica wore black designer clothes and oversized sunglasses, the picture of grief. But I caught her checking her phone during the eulogy. After the service, during the reception at a local restaurant, Monica cornered me by the coffee station. "We need to talk," she said. "Not here, not now." "When then? You've been avoiding my calls." "Because I don't want to talk to you." "This is about Jamie's future, Alex. You can't just shut me out." "Watch me." Her expression hardened. "I spoke with an attorney, a good one, specialist in family law and contested guardianships." My blood went cold. "You're contesting?" "I'm exploring my options, for Jamie's sake. A judge will want to know why David chose a single man with no experience over a married couple who can provide stability." "Because David trusted me. Because he knew I'd put Jamie first." "Did he? Or did you manipulate a dying man when he was vulnerable?" I stepped closer, keeping my voice low. "You didn't give a damn about David or Jamie until you found out about the life insurance. Don't pretend this is about the kids' well-being. And what's your excuse? You've never had kids, never been married. You're alone, Alex. A lonely bachelor who saw an opportunity to play daddy with someone else's child and someone else's money. That's what you think this is? That's what a judge will think when I present the facts." Marcus appeared at my elbow. "Everything okay here?" Monica's smile returned. "Fine. Just discussing family matters. You must be Marcus Chen. I've heard about you, Alex's friend from college. How nice that he has someone to help him navigate all these legal complexities." "Nice to meet you too," Marcus said coolly. Monica walked away, hips swaying, confident. Marcus watched her go. "That's the sister?" "Yeah. She's going to be a problem." "I know." The will reading happened 2 days later at David's attorney's office. Small room, leather chairs, certificates on the wall. David's attorney, Thomas Kirkland, was in his 60s, gray-haired, the kind of lawyer who wore suspenders and actually read every word of every document. "The estate is straightforward," Kirkland said. "The house, currently valued at $420,000, goes to Jamie in a trust. The life insurance policy, $2.3 million, also goes to Jamie in a trust. Both trusts are managed by the designated guardian until Jamie reaches age 18 or graduates college, whichever comes later. The guardian has discretion over all expenses related to Jamie's care, education, health, and welfare. Annual accountings must be filed with the court." Monica leaned forward. "And who is the designated guardian?" Kirkland looked at her over his reading glasses. "Alex Brennan, named explicitly in David's will and in a separate notarized document signed 3 weeks before his passing." 3 weeks? Monica's voice rose. David was heavily medicated 3 weeks ago. He wasn't in his right mind. He was lucid at the time of signing. I witnessed it personally, as did 2 nurses. He was competent to make this decision. "I want to see that document." "It's part of the probate file. You're welcome to request a copy." Kirkland turned to me. Alex, there's something else. David left a letter. He asked that I read it aloud if anyone contested the guardianship. He pulled out an envelope, opened it, and began to read in David's words. To whom it may concern, I am of sound mind and body, or at least sound mind since my body is failing me. I choose Alex Brennan as guardian of my son Jamie for the following reasons. First, Alex has been my best friend for 20 years. He was there when Emma died. He helped me through the worst time of my life. He loves Jamie already, not for what Jamie represents, but for who Jamie is. Second, I do not trust certain members of my family to put Jamie's interests first. I am aware that my son will inherit a substantial sum. I am also aware that this money may attract individuals whose primary concern is financial gain rather than Jamie's welfare. If you are reading this because someone is contesting Alex's guardianship, I ask you to consider their motivation. Are they genuinely concerned with Jamie's happiness, or are they concerned with accessing a $2.3 million trust fund? I made my choice carefully and with full knowledge of all available options. I chose Alex because he is the only person I trust completely to put Jamie first. Please honor my wishes. David Brennan. Silence filled the room. Monica stood up. This is ridiculous. He's painting me as some kind of villain. David didn't mention you by name, Kirkland said mildly. Everyone knows he's talking about me. I'm the only one who offered to take Jamie. Offered, I said. You demanded. You showed up at his school. You interrogated an 8-year-old about money. You told our entire family I was unfit. Because you are. Richard put his hand on Monica's arm. Let's go. No, I want to contest this. I want a hearing. Let a judge decide who's better suited to raise that boy. Kirkland closed his folder. That's your right. But I should warn you, David was very thorough. He documented his reasoning, his conversations with Jamie, even his concerns about certain family members. If you pursue this, all of that becomes part of the public record. I don't care. I'm doing what's best for Jamie, even if no one else can see it. They left. Marcus let out a breath. Well, that escalated. She's really going to fight this, I said. Looks like it, which means we need to be ready. Kirkland, what kind of timeline are we looking at? She'll file a petition to contest the guardianship. Could be as early as next week. There'll be a hearing, probably within 30 days. The court will appoint a guardian ad litem to represent Jamie's interests. They'll interview everyone involved, assess the home environments, talk to Jamie. What are our chances? Honestly? Good. David's wishes were clear, his reasoning was sound, and Alex has been Jamie's guardian for over a month now, with no issues. But courts do sometimes side with married couples over single individuals, especially when there's significant wealth involved. Monica will argue she can provide more stability. She can't have him, I said. I don't care what I have to do. She can't have him. Kirkland studied me. Then you need to be perfect, Alex. No mistakes. Document everything. Keep records of every penny you spend, every decision you make, every interaction with Jamie. Give them no ammunition. I thought about Monica's words at the funeral. She's going to say I manipulated David. Probably, which is why we need witnesses who can testify otherwise. Hospice staff, friends, anyone who saw your relationship with David and Jamie. I'll make a list. Good. And Alex? Kirkland's expression softened. For what it's worth, David made the right choice. I've been doing this for 35 years. I can spot the difference between someone who cares about a child and someone who cares about a trust fund. You're the former. Your sister is the latter. That should have made me feel better. It didn't, because Monica had money, connections, and a lawyer who specialized in winning contested custody cases, and all I had was the truth. I hoped it would be enough. The petition arrived by courier 6 days later. Thick envelope, legal letterhead, Monica's signature at the bottom. Petition to contest guardianship and award custody to petitioner Monica Westwood. I read through it twice, feeling sicker with each page. She was claiming I was emotionally unstable, financially irresponsible, and lacking in parental competence. She argued that Jamie needed a traditional two-parent household with an established family structure. She suggested that my sudden interest in guardianship coincided suspiciously with the revelation of the substantial trust fund. Every accusation was a twisted version of reality. Marcus read through it in my kitchen while Jamie was at school. This is aggressive. She's not holding back. What do? We fight fire with facts. She's making claims, so we provide evidence that disproves them. Emotionally unstable, we get character witnesses. Financially irresponsible, we show your financial records, prove you're more than capable of managing the estate. Lacking parental competence, we show Jamie's thriving under your care. How do we prove that? School records, doctor's visits, therapy notes if he's seeing someone. He is, grief counselor, once a week. Perfect. Get written statements from his teachers, his counselor, his doctor. We build a picture of a child who's adjusting well despite enormous trauma. And we contrast that with your sister's behavior, the school incident, her inappropriate questions about money. We show the court who's really focused on Jamie's well-being. She has money for a good lawyer. And we have the truth, plus David's documentation. That letter wasn't just for show, Alex. That's evidence of his state of mind, his reasoning, his concerns. A judge will take that seriously. What about Jamie? Will he have to testify? Marcus hesitated. Probably. The guardian ad litem will interview him. They'll ask him where he wants to live, how he feels about both households. His opinion matters, especially at his age. He's 8. This is going to traumatize him. I know, but there's no way around it. If Monica's contesting, the court has to hear from Jamie. That night, I had to explain to an 8-year-old that his aunt was trying to take him away from me in court. Why? Jamie asked. We were sitting on his bed, the planet nightlight casting stars on the ceiling. She thinks she can give you a better life. But I don't want to live with her. I know. So I just tell the judge that, right? And then I get to stay? It's a little more complicated than that. The judge has to consider lots of things. But yes, your opinion matters. They'll ask you what you want. I want to stay here, with you. Then that's what you'll tell them. What if they don't listen? I didn't have a good answer for that. The next 3 weeks were a blur of preparation. Marcus and I built our case like we were preparing for war. First, David's documentation. The letter was important, but we needed more. I went back to the hospice and talked to Sarah, David's nurse. I remember Monica, Sarah said. She was filling out patient charts in the break room, but she stopped when I explained what was happening. She came to visit David twice. Both times she asked about the will, about the life insurance, about who was getting what. David shut her down pretty fast, told her it was none of her business. Would you be willing to write that down? An official statement? Absolutely. I thought it was weird at the time, the way she kept circling back to money. David was dying, and she was asking about assets. It bothered me. Did she ever interact with Jamie? Once. She tried to take him to the cafeteria, said she wanted to talk to him privately. David told her no, said Jamie didn't need to hear whatever she had to say. Can you document that too? Consider it done. Next, I gathered documentation about Jamie's current situation, report cards from his new school, showing he was maintaining good grades despite the stress, notes from his teachers about his behavior, his social adjustment, his engagement in class, a letter from his grief counselor stating that Jamie was processing his loss in a healthy manner within a stable, supportive home environment. I documented every expense I'd made for Jamie. New clothes, school supplies, doctor visits, therapy sessions, every receipt, every credit card statement, proof that the trust money was being used appropriately for Jamie's care. Marcus helped me prepare financial statements showing I could support Jamie even without the trust fund. My salary as a senior software engineer, my savings, my mortgage payments, evidence that I wasn't dependent on Jamie's inheritance. Your sister is going to argue you're using trust money for personal expenses, Marcus said. So we need to show clear separation, which means you need to pay for household expenses out of your own pocket and only use trust money for Jamie's direct needs. I've been doing that. Good. Keep detailed records. This is the kind of thing judges pay attention to. The guardian ad litem was appointed by the court 2 weeks after Monica filed her petition. Her name was Jennifer Walsh, a family law attorney with 15 years of experience evaluating custody cases. She came to my house first, unannounced, which I later learned was standard procedure. Wanted to see the real home environment, not the one I'd prepared for inspection. She arrived at 10 on a Tuesday morning. I was in my office on a video call, wearing a dress shirt and pajama pants. Jamie was at the kitchen table doing homework, half-eaten sandwich next to his math worksheet. "Mr. Brennan?" She knocked on the open door. "I'm Jennifer Walsh. I apologize for the surprise visit." I ended the call quickly. "No problem. Come in." She spent 2 hours there, looked through Jamie's room, checked the refrigerator, asked about our daily routine, talked to Jamie alone in his room for 30 minutes while I waited downstairs, trying not to panic. When Jamie came down, he looked tired, but okay. "Can I watch TV?" he asked. "Sure, buddy." After he left, Walsh sat across from me at the kitchen table. "Tell me about your sister," she said. So I told her. Everything. The sudden interest in Jamie after learning about the inheritance, the questions about money, the school incident, the family dinners where she undermined my parenting, the expensive gifts clearly designed to buy Jamie's affection. Walsh took notes, but didn't react. "Your sister claims you manipulated David into naming you guardian, that you took advantage of a dying man. David was my best friend for 20 years. I didn't manipulate him. I was the only person he trusted." "Why didn't he trust your sister?" "Because she never cared about Jamie until there was money involved. David saw through that." "Can you prove it?" His nurse documented Monica's visits, her questions about the will and the life insurance. David's lawyer has notes about his concerns regarding family members trying to access the trust. And there's David's letter. I've read the letter. It's compelling, but it's also vague. He doesn't name your sister specifically. He didn't have to. Everyone knew who he was talking about. Walsh closed her notebook. "I'll be visiting your sister's home next week. I'll interview her, her husband, and Jamie in that environment. Then, I'll submit my report to the judge." "What will you recommend?" "That depends on what I see and hear. My only concern is Jamie's best interest. Not yours, not your sister's. His. That's my only concern, too. We'll see." She left, and I felt like I'd just taken the hardest test of my life without knowing if I'd passed. Walsh's visit to Monica's house happened the following Tuesday. I know, because Monica called me afterward, furious. "You told that woman I was only interested in Jamie's money. You poisoned her against me." I told her the truth. The truth? The truth is, you're a lonely, desperate man who saw an opportunity to feel important. You can't have kids of your own, so you're stealing someone else's. I'm not stealing anyone. David chose me. Because you manipulated him. If that's what you want to believe. The guardian ad litem asked me why I didn't show interest in Jamie before David got sick. What was I supposed to say to that? Maybe the truth? That you didn't care until there was money involved? She hung up on me. 3 days later, I got a copy of Walsh's preliminary report. Marcus read it first, then handed it to me with a neutral expression. "Just read it." The report was 10 pages long, clinical, detailed, thorough. Walsh had interviewed Jamie extensively in both homes, asked him about his daily routine, his feelings, his preferences. Jamie had told her he wanted to stay with me, that he felt safe and happy in my house, that he liked his new school and his new friends, that Aunt Monica asked too many questions and made him uncomfortable. Walsh had evaluated both home environments, noted that my house was modest but well-maintained, with appropriate accommodations for a child. Monica's house was luxurious but impersonal, with no evidence of preparation for a child's needs. She'd interviewed character witnesses, Sarah from the hospice, Jamie's teachers, his grief counselor, David's lawyer. All spoke highly of me and expressed concerns about Monica's motives. And then, the conclusion. Based on the evidence gathered, this evaluator finds that the current guardianship arrangement with Alex Brennan serves the best interests of the minor child. Mr. Brennan has demonstrated appropriate parenting capability, financial responsibility, and genuine concern for the child's well-being. The petitioner's interest in guardianship appears motivated primarily by financial considerations rather than the child's needs. This evaluator recommends that the current guardianship be made permanent and that the petition to contest be denied. I read it 3 times. We won? I asked Marcus. Not yet. The judge still has to rule. But this is huge, Alex. Guardian ad litem reports carry enormous weight. If Walsh is recommending you, we're in good shape. Monica's not going to give up. Probably not. She'll fight harder now, but we've got the evidence on our side. He was right. Monica's lawyer filed a motion to disqualify Walsh, claiming bias. The motion was denied. They requested a second evaluation. Also denied. They subpoenaed my financial records going back 5 years, looking for anything questionable. Found nothing. They were throwing everything at the wall, hoping something would stick. Meanwhile, David's condition remained stable in the ground, and Jamie remained stable in my house. School, therapy, homework, dinner, bedtime. We'd built a routine, a life, and I was going to fight like hell to protect it. The hearing was scheduled for the following month. 30 days to prepare for the biggest battle of my life. 30 days to prove I deserved to be Jamie's father. David's funeral had been small, but the memorial service was bigger. Friends from work, from college, from the neighborhood. People who wanted to say goodbye, to share stories, to remind themselves that David Brennan had existed and mattered. Monica showed up in black Prada, playing the grieving family member. She hugged people she'd never met, accepted condolences with practiced grace, and made sure everyone knew she was trying to do what's best for poor little Jamie. I stood in the back with Jamie, letting him decide when he wanted to leave. After the service, Mom hosted a gathering at her house. Traditional, expected, the kind of thing Mom lived for. Organizing, hosting, making sure everyone had enough food. Monica cornered me in the kitchen while I was getting Jamie a drink. "We need to stop this," she said. "Stop what?" "This fighting, this legal battle. It's tearing the family apart. You're the one who filed the petition. Because I'm concerned about Jamie. Can't you see that?" "No, Monica, I can't, because everything you've done has been about the money, not about Jamie. That's not fair. Isn't it? You tried to pick him up from school without permission. You asked a dying man about his will. You interrogated an 8-year-old about his inheritance. What part of that is about Jamie's well-being?" She looked around, making sure no one was listening. "You don't understand. Richard's business is in trouble. We need—" She stopped. "You need what?" I asked quietly. "You need Jamie's trust fund to bail out your husband's failing company." "It's not failing. It's just a temporary cash flow issue. And you thought you could use a dead man's life insurance to fix it? The money would go to Jamie's care. We'd give him everything." "You'd give him everything he could buy, not everything he needs." "What does that even mean?" "It means love isn't something you can purchase, Monica. It's something you show up for, every day, when it's hard, when it's boring, when there's no money or glory or benefit to you. That's love. And you don't have it in you." Her face hardened. "You're going to regret this, Alex." "Probably, but I'll regret it knowing I did the right thing." She walked away, and I knew the hearing was going to be brutal. 4 days later, David's lawyer called. "Alex, we have a problem." My stomach dropped. "What kind of problem?" Monica's lawyer is claiming that David was coerced into signing the guardianship documents. They're alleging you had undue influence over him during his final weeks. That's insane. I barely left his side because I was his friend, not because I wanted something from him. I know, but they're going to push this angle hard. They've subpoenaed the hospice records, David's medication logs, everything. They're looking for any evidence that David wasn't fully competent when he made his wishes known. He was competent. The nurses confirmed it. You confirmed it. And we'll testify to that. But Alex, you need to understand what's happening here. Monica's not just fighting for guardianship anymore. She's trying to invalidate David's entire will. If she succeeds, if she can prove David wasn't competent, then his estate goes to his next of kin, which would be Jamie, yes, but as a minor, Jamie would need a guardian. And without David's explicit wishes on record, a court might side with a married couple over a single man. She's trying to erase everything David wanted. Exactly. Can she do that? It's an uphill battle, but with enough money and a good lawyer? Maybe. I sat down. What do? We fight back. We gather every piece of evidence showing David's mental competence. Medical records, witness statements, video if you have it. Video? Did you record anything? Phone calls, visits, conversations? I thought about the hours I'd spent at David's bedside, the conversations we'd had, the plans we'd made for Jamie's future. No, I didn't think to record my dying friend's last words. I know, I'm sorry, but we work with what we have, and what we have is strong. Multiple witnesses, consistent documentation, David's letter. It's going to be okay. But it didn't feel okay. It felt like Monica was willing to destroy David's memory just to get access to his money. The hearing date approached like a storm on the horizon. Marcus filed our response to Monica's petition, including Walsh's recommendation and all our supporting evidence. Monica's lawyer filed a counter-response that was 40 pages of accusations and insinuations. I stopped sleeping well. Every night I'd lie awake thinking about worst-case scenarios, Jamie being taken away, Monica controlling his life, his money, his future, David's wishes being erased. Jamie knew something was wrong. Kids always know. "Uncle Alex?" he asked one night at dinner. "Are you mad at me?" "What? No. Why would you think that?" "You seem sad, and you're not eating much, and you keep staring at your phone." I put down the phone. "I'm not mad at you, buddy. I'm just worried about the hearing, about making sure you get to stay here. The judge is going to let me stay, right? Because I told that lady I wanted to." "I hope so." "Hope isn't the same as no." Smart kid. Too smart. "You're right. I don't know what the judge will decide, but I'm going to do everything I can to make sure we stay together." "What if it's not enough?" I didn't have an answer for that. 2 days before the hearing, I got a call from Sarah, the hospice nurse. "Alex, I remembered something. When Monica visited David that second time, I made a note in his chart. She was asking him questions, and he got agitated. His blood pressure spiked, his heart rate increased. I had to ask her to leave because she was upsetting him. Do you still have that note?" "It's in his medical records, but there's more. After she left, David told me something. He said, 'If my sister tries to take Jamie, show them this.' And he recorded a video on his phone. Short, maybe 3 minutes. He asked me to send it to his lawyer if anything happened. Did you?" "I emailed it to Thomas Kirkland right after David passed. I thought he'd shared it with you." "No, he never mentioned a video." "Then you need to call him, because that video makes David's wishes very, very clear." I called Kirkland immediately. "The video," he said. "Yes, I have it. I was saving it for the hearing. Didn't want to tip our hand too early." "Can I see it? Come to my office. Now." I drove there in a daze. Kirkland pulled up the video on his computer. David's face filled the screen, gaunt and tired, but clear-eyed. "My name is David Brennan," he said into the camera. "Today is March 15th. I'm recording this because I want there to be no confusion about my wishes for my son Jamie. I am of sound mind. I'm on pain medication, yes, but I'm lucid. I understand what I'm saying and why I'm saying it. I want Alex Brennan to be Jamie's guardian, not temporary, permanent. He's the only person I trust to put Jamie first. Not Jamie's money, not Jamie's inheritance, Jamie himself. If anyone is watching this video, it's probably because someone contested my wishes. If that someone is my sister Monica, I want you to know why I didn't choose her. Monica has never shown interest in Jamie until now. The day she found out about my life insurance policy, she suddenly wanted to be involved in his life. That's not love. That's opportunism. Alex has been my friend for 20 years. He was there when Emma died. He helped me through the darkest time of my life. He loves Jamie because Jamie is worth loving, not because Jamie comes with a trust fund. So please, whoever is making decisions about my son's future, honor my wishes. Give Jamie to Alex. Let them be a family. That's all I want. That's all I've ever wanted. The video ended. I sat there, staring at the blank screen. That's our smoking gun, Kirkland said. Recorded 2 weeks before he died. Clear competence, clear reasoning, clear wishes. Monica's claim of coercion and undue influence falls apart the moment this plays in court. When were you going to tell me about this? I wanted to save it for maximum impact. Spring it on them during the hearing, when they're confident they've made their case. It's more effective that way. Does Monica know about this video? No. It's not in the discovery materials because Sarah only sent it to me after David died. It's privileged attorney-client communication. They won't know about it until we play it in front of the judge. Good, I said. Let them be confident. Let them think they're winning. That's the spirit. 2 more days, Alex. Just hold on for 2 more days. I went home and found Jamie in his room, reading. Hey, buddy, can we talk? He put down the book. Is it bad news? No. Actually, it might be good news. Your dad made a video before he died, explaining why he wanted you to stay with me. Can I see it? Not yet, but soon, after the hearing, when this is all over. What did he say? He said he loves you, and he wants you to be happy, and he trusts me to make sure that happens. Jamie nodded slowly. I miss him. I know, me too. Uncle Alex? If the judge says I have to go live with Aunt Monica, I'm going to run away. Jamie, I mean it. I'll run away and hide, and they'll never find me. I sat on the edge of his bed. That's not going to happen, I promise. You can't promise that. You don't control the judge. No. But I have something your dad left us. Something that's going to make sure we stay together. The video? Yeah, the video. Jamie was quiet for a moment. Then, okay, I trust you. Those 3 words nearly broke me. Thank you, buddy. That means everything. The night before the hearing, I couldn't sleep at all. Just lay there, staring at the ceiling, running through scenarios. Monica's lawyer would argue that Jamie needed a 2-parent home. We'd counter with Walsh's report. They'd claim I was unfit. We'd show evidence to the contrary. They'd allege coercion. We'd play David's video. And then a judge would decide the rest of Jamie's life. No pressure. At 3 a.m, I got up and went to Jamie's room. He was asleep, curled up under his planet blanket, one arm around the stuffed dinosaur he'd brought from his old house. He looked so small, so vulnerable. I thought about Monica and Richard, about their mansion and their money and their complete lack of understanding about what it meant to love a child. And I thought about David, trusting me with the most important thing in his life. I wasn't going to let him down. I wasn't going to let Jamie down. Tomorrow, in that courtroom, I was going to fight like hell, because that's what family does. The courthouse lobby smelled like old wood and stressed people. I sat on a bench outside the courtroom, Marcus beside me, going over our notes one more time. Remember, Marcus said, stay calm. Don't let Monica's lawyer bait you. Answer questions directly and honestly, and trust the evidence. We've got this. I feel like I'm going to throw up. That's normal. But Alex, listen to me. We have David's video. We have Walsh's report. We have testimony from everyone who matters. The only way we lose is if the judge completely ignores all of that. And judges don't do that. Monica arrived with Richard and her lawyer, a woman in an expensive suit with sharp eyes and a sharper smile. They sat on the opposite side of the lobby, and Monica wouldn't look at me. Good. I didn't want to look at her either. At 9 o'clock, the bailiff opened the doors. Brennan guardianship case. All parties, please enter. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. Judge Helen Martinez presided, a woman in her 50s with reading glasses and an expression that gave nothing away. Monica's lawyer went first. Your Honor, my client Monica Westwood is petitioning for guardianship of her nephew Jamie Brennan, age 8. Mr. Alex Brennan, the current temporary guardian, is a single man with no parenting experience, no spouse, and no support system. My client, by contrast, is married, financially stable, and able to provide a traditional two-parent household. She's offering young Jamie a complete family structure, something Mr. Brennan simply cannot provide. She went on like that for 20 minutes, painting me as incompetent, painting Monica as the perfect guardian, implying without saying directly that I'd manipulated David into naming me guardian. Then Marcus stood up. Your Honor, with respect to opposing counsel, this case isn't about traditional versus non-traditional family structures. It's about honoring a dying father's explicit wishes and protecting a vulnerable child from relatives with questionable motives. David Brennan chose Alex Brennan as guardian for very specific reasons, which we will demonstrate through testimony and documentary evidence. We ask that the court honor those wishes and deny the petition to contest. Judge Martinez looked between us. I've reviewed the guardian ad litem's report. Ms. Walsh, would you like to summarize your findings? Jennifer Walsh stood from the gallery. Yes, Your Honor. I spent extensive time with both parties and with Jamie. In my professional opinion, Jamie is thriving in Mr. Alex Brennan's care. He's adjusted well to his new school. He's processing his grief in a healthy manner with therapeutic support, and he's expressed a clear preference to remain in his current placement. I did not find evidence that Mr. Brennan is unfit, or that a change in guardianship would serve Jamie's interests. What about the petitioner's home? The judge asked. Mrs. Westwood's home is certainly luxurious and well appointed. However, I observed no preparation for a child's needs, no toys, no books, no indication that space had been made for Jamie. When I interviewed Mrs. Westwood, her focus was primarily on financial matters related to the guardianship, rather than Jamie's emotional or developmental needs. Monica's lawyer stood. Objection, Your Honor. That characterization is unfair and overruled. Ms. Walsh is the court-appointed evaluator. Her observations are relevant. Continue. Walsh nodded. I also interviewed hospice staff who cared for David Brennan in his final weeks. They reported that Mrs. Westwood's visits to her brother focused on questions about the will and the life insurance policy. One nurse documented an incident where Mrs. Westwood's questions caused Mr. Brennan's vital signs to spike to concerning levels, requiring her to be asked to leave. Monica shifted in her seat. Based on all of this, Walsh concluded, I recommend that current guardianship be made permanent and that the petition be denied. Thank you, Ms. Walsh. Mr. Chen, call your first witness. Marcus called Sarah, the hospice nurse. She testified about David's mental competence, about Monica's inappropriate questions, about the incident where Monica had upset David so badly that medical intervention was necessary. Did Mr. Brennan ever express concerns about his sister? Marcus asked. Yes. He told me if she tried to take Jamie, I should make sure his lawyer got a video he'd recorded. He was very clear that he didn't trust her with his son. Did you send that video to the lawyer? I did, the day after Mr. Brennan passed. Marcus called David's lawyer next. Thomas Kirkland testified about David's clear, competent instructions, about the letter he'd written, about his explicit concerns regarding family members who might see Jamie's inheritance as an opportunity. Then Monica's lawyer called her witnesses. A child psychologist who'd never met Jamie but testified generally about the benefits of two-parent households. A financial advisor who analyzed my income versus Monica's wealth, suggesting I couldn't provide the same opportunities. When it was Monica's turn to testify, she painted herself as the loving aunt who just wanted what was best for her nephew. "I've always cared about Jamie," she said. "When my brother got sick, I wanted to help. Yes, I asked about the finances. Not because I wanted the money, but because I wanted to make sure Jamie would be taken care of. A child inheriting millions needs proper financial oversight." "And why do you believe you're better suited than Mr. Brennan?" her lawyer asked. "I can provide a complete family, a mother and father, stability. I have the time and resources to focus entirely on Jamie's needs. Alex is a good person, but he's alone. He works full-time. A child shouldn't be raised by someone juggling work and parenting, especially a child who's been through so much trauma." It sounded reasonable, caring, almost believable. Then Marcus cross-examined her. "Mrs. Westwood, how many times did you visit your nephew before your brother got sick?" I'm not sure. Several times." "More than 5? She hesitated. "I don't remember exactly." "Less than 3? "I said I don't remember." "Let me refresh your memory. According to your brother's calendar and your nephew's school records, you visited exactly 0 times in the 2 years between Emma Brennan's passing and David Brennan's diagnosis. Would you like to revise your testimony about always caring for Jamie?" Monica's face flushed. "I lived far away. It was difficult to visit." "You live 20 miles away. That's a 30-minute drive. Yet you managed to visit your brother 5 times during his final month of life. Why the sudden interest?" "He was dying. I wanted to spend time with him." "And ask about his will?" "I was concerned about my nephew's future." "Were you concerned about your nephew or about the $2.3 million life insurance policy?" "Objection!" her lawyer shouted. "Sustained," Judge Martinez said. "Mr. Chen, rephrase." "Mrs. Westwood, did you know about your brother's life insurance policy before you started visiting the hospice?" "Yes. He mentioned it." "And when did your interest in guardianship begin? Before or after learning about that policy?" She didn't answer. Marcus returned to our table and nodded to Kirkland. "Your Honor, we'd like to play a video recording made by David Brennan while he was still alive." Monica's lawyer shot to her feet. "Your Honor, we weren't informed about any video evidence. The video was sent to Mr. Kirkland after Mr. Brennan's passing," Marcus said calmly. "It wasn't in our possession during discovery. However, it's directly relevant to the question of David Brennan's wishes and mental competence." Judge Martinez considered. "I'll allow it. Bailiff, set up the screen." They wheeled in a monitor. Kirkland connected his laptop, and David's face appeared, gaunt but clear-eyed. I watched Monica as the video played. Watched her face drain of color as David explained his reasoning, his concerns, his explicit wish that Jamie go to me and not to family members motivated by financial gain. When the video ended, the courtroom was silent. Judge Martinez took off her reading glasses. "Mrs. Westwood, would you like to respond to anything in that video?" Monica's lawyer whispered something to her. Monica shook her head, looking defeated. "No, Your Honor." "Mr. Brennan, would you like to testify?" I stood up. "Yes, Your Honor. Marcus had prepped me for this. Stay calm. Be honest. Focus on Jamie." I told the judge about my 20-year friendship with David, about being there when Emma died, about the promise I made to always put Jamie first, about the routine we'd built, the stability we'd created, the life we were making together. "Your Honor, I'm not perfect. I'm learning as I go. But I love that kid. Not because of what he represents or what he inherited. Because he's Jamie. Because he's my best friend's son. and because he deserves someone who sees him as a person, not a trust fund. Do you believe you can provide for all of Jamie's needs? I believe I can provide what he needs most: love, stability, and someone who keeps their promises. Judge Martinez made notes. Thank you, Mr. Brennan. I'd like to speak with Jamie now. They brought Jamie in through a side door. He looked so small walking into that big courtroom. His eyes found mine, and I tried to smile reassuringly. The judge had him sit in the witness box, though she came down from the bench to talk to him at eye level. No oath, no formality. Just a conversation. Hi, Jamie. I'm Judge Martinez. I need to ask you some questions, okay? Okay. Where do you want to live? With Uncle Alex. Why? Because he's nice to me. He helps with my homework. He makes good pancakes. And he doesn't make me talk about stuff I don't want to talk about. What about your Aunt Monica? She has a big house, right? Yeah, but I don't like it there. It's too big. And she asks too many questions. What kind of questions? About my dad. About money. About stuff my dad told me. It makes me uncomfortable. Jamie, if you had to choose between living with Uncle Alex or living with Aunt Monica and Uncle Richard, who would you choose? Uncle Alex. Every time. Even though Aunt Monica could give you more things? I don't want more things. I want to stay where my dad wanted me to stay. Judge Martinez patted his shoulder. Thank you, Jamie. You can go back to the waiting room now. After Jamie left, the judge returned to the bench. I'm going to make my ruling now. Based on the evidence presented, including the guardian ad litem's report, the testimony of multiple witnesses, the video recording from David Brennan, and Jamie's own stated preference, I find that the current guardianship arrangement serves the child's best interests. The petition to contest is denied. Mr. Alex Brennan's temporary guardianship is hereby made permanent. Mrs. Westwood, if you wish to appeal this decision, that's your right. But I'm advising you now that the evidence strongly supports this ruling. Monica stood up. Your Honor, please. My decision is final. This hearing is concluded. The gavel came down. Monica's lawyer was already packing up, avoiding eye contact with her client. Richard stood, looking annoyed and tired. Monica turned to look at me. For a moment, I thought she might apologize, might acknowledge that this had gotten out of hand. Instead, she said, You're going to regret this. Maybe, I said, but not today. She left with Richard, their expensive shoes clicking on the marble floor. Marcus clapped me on the shoulder. That's it. You won. Jamie's yours. Permanently, legally, unquestionably yours. I couldn't quite process it yet. It's really over? It's really over. We walked out to the lobby where Mom was waiting with Jamie. She'd been in the courtroom for the verdict, sitting in the back, saying nothing. Now she approached slowly. Alex. Mom. I'm sorry. I should have trusted you. I should have seen what Monica was really doing. Yeah, you should have. Can you forgive me? I looked at Jamie, who was watching this interaction carefully. I don't know yet, but I'm willing to try. She nodded. That's fair. She turned to Jamie. And you, young man. I'm sorry I didn't listen to what you wanted. Your grandma was being foolish. It's okay, Jamie said quietly. No, it's not. But I'm going to do better. She looked at me. Both of you are always welcome for Sunday dinner. If you want to come. We'll think about it, I said. After she left, Jamie tugged on my sleeve. Can we go home now? Yeah, buddy. We can go home. In the car, Jamie was quiet until we turned onto our street. Uncle Alex? Yeah? Are we going to be okay now? Really okay? I pulled into the driveway and turned off the engine. Looked at this kid who'd lost so much but somehow still had hope. Yeah, Jamie, we're going to be okay. You're stuck with me now. He smiled, the first real smile I'd seen in weeks. Good. Inside, I made us both grilled cheese sandwiches because that's what felt right. Comfort food, normal food, the kind of food that says everything's going to be fine. My phone buzzed. Text from Marcus. Guardianship papers being filed tomorrow. Should have official copies by end of week. Congratulations, Dad. Dad. The word hit me harder than I expected. I wasn't Jamie's dad. David would always be his dad. But I could be something else. Something just as important.